All right, welcome to Natural Health Improvement Center. This is how to stay healthy during the cold and flu season. I am Sarah Outlaw. I'm a nutrition practitioner here at this office, and my reason for becoming a holistic healthcare practitioner was so I could help people to recover from illnesses without the use of drugs or surgery. So my story is very simple. I was sick and now I'm not. So I had adrenal fatigue, hypothyroid, Lyme disease, and a slew of other different issues that were keeping me less than I should be as a person, and not making me a good mom and not a good wife, because I was tired all the time and sick all the time. So I decided to fix all that, and I did it the natural way. So I'm not on no medications. I've never been on any medications, and I'm going to keep it that way. And my goal is to help other people to be able to get off their medications eventually and then not have to take any either, and to learn that they can care for themselves and their families holistically without the use of medications, drugs, or surgery. So that's what we do here. We have a very big office. There's a huge crowd here tonight as we pack it out usually. Well, we're going to have to buy some more chairs or move to the library. That's our next goal, is we're going to pack the library out because they have those big community rooms. That's what we're going to do next. So it's really nice that you all came and took some time out of your Tuesday night to learn about this subject. I have 4 children, so my children range in ages from 5 to 16, and from early on I knew that I wanted to take care of them naturally. So I did a lot of research over the past 16 years or so on how to keep my family healthy using natural remedies and not having to use Tylenol or ibuprofen or Sudafed or anything that was going to be, just a cover-up. I wanted to find out what was going on internally and fix it from the root. Like if they had a cold, let's get the virus out instead of just covering the symptoms and then just hope it goes away on its own, kind of a thing. So the things we're going to talk about tonight is simple ways that you can keep yourself and your family healthy. It doesn't cost a lot of money. It's really simple ways that you can just have things around the house that you can use. We have some things that we use at the office that really work really well, all like whole food based and some herbs and some homeopathy. So we kind of throw everything in the kitchen sink at things when we get sick, right? Because we want to kind of take care of it. So this will show you kind of how to weed through and navigate through what's good and what's not. People say, oh, high dose vitamin C or do this and that, take zinc, lots of zinc. Are those things okay or not? So I do have a handout. I don't always guarantee that the slides are going to follow it exactly, because I tend to get a little crazy with the slides and the handouts and doing things separately. But for the most part, everything's on here. The first thing we're going to talk about, and feel free to ask questions during, just raise your hand. I'm happy to answer questions. We're going to talk about the packets with the pink papers after we talk about this. But first we're going to talk about this packet here. So the PowerPoint, how to stay healthy. The first way to stay healthy, I can get it to work here. Doesn't want to move on me. Come on. You can kind of stay at home, exit, and go back in. That's not a good sign. Keep moving. So walking, light strength exercises, yoga, and Pilates are some really, really good ways to stay healthy by moving. We might not be able to do the PowerPoint, but it's not going to cooperate here. I don't know what's wrong with it. It's giving me trouble. Oh, there we go. Okay, hang on. Here we go. All right, let's just give it a second. There we go. Good. It just fell asleep on us. It was like you start at 6:45 and you didn't. All right. So walking, light strength exercises, yoga. Anytime you can get the blood moving and circulating, it really helps the cardiovascular system. And the cardiovascular system has a lot to do with the immune system itself. So if your cardiovascular system is nice and strong, then your immune system will be strong as well. So if you can get your body moving, dancing, walking, doing whatever, just 20 minutes a day, just walk around the block, run up and down your steps, do some jumping jacks, just get your blood pumping, and it really does help. And it also helps with toning your muscles, and good muscle tone is good for your health as well. So anytime you can keep moving, and it's harder to move, I feel like people don't do as much movement during the colder seasons because you just kind of feel like sitting and hibernating. People tend to work out when it's time to get ready for the beach, right? So it's spring and summer, or January 1st. Everyone's like, okay, we're going to go get this exercise program. But these months coming up, everyone starts to kind of get into a slump. You get to Halloween, you eat a ton of candy, you get to Thanksgiving, your Christmas, all these kind of holidays where you just kind of get into this non-exercising food funk. So that's all really bad for your immune system. So some ways you can boost your immune system, or I like to say sometimes even not boost, but bolster, just to bolster your immune system. Don't eat sugar. That's number one. That's always number one. Sugar is really bad for your immune system. Anytime you eat sugar, your immune system is depressed for at least 4 hours after, which opens your body up to a lot of other things. You're much more susceptible to illnesses in that 4-hour window. So let's think, if you have children, think of this for example. So if your children are in school and at lunchtime or after lunch they have a school party and they give everybody cupcakes with icing and full of sugar, and then they still have a few hours left of school, right? They're 10 times at least more susceptible to whatever germs are in that classroom than they were prior to lunchtime or before they had that cupcake. So it really does that to your body. Alcohol does the same thing. So wine and beer, alcoholic beverages, that does the same thing as sugar does to your immune system. So you have to watch make sure your immune system is really, if you're going to drink alcohol, at least make sure your immune system is really good. So if it does go down, you're not going to get everything that comes down the pike. A lot of people will come in and say, man, I went to a wedding over the weekend, I had, cake, and I had, the dessert buffet, and I drank wine, I had champagne, and I am out, down and out for the count. I have cold, I have stomach issues, all these things, and it's because your immune system took a hammering. So if you understand the concept of what sugar does to your body, it's really helpful so that you know how to avoid it or just boost your immune system before you have sugar in the first place. Elderberry tea, I really like elderberry. I like elderberry syrup, elderberry teas. I have a bunch of ones that I use. I use ones that are just elderberry, so it's just the elderberry itself. And the reason why we use elderberry is because elderberries are antiviral, and they can stop the duplication of viruses immediately. So there's lots of articles if you go to PubMed, which is a public journal website that a lot of doctors and nurses and nutritionists and healthcare practitioners use, that you can kind of just pull up journal articles without a membership. You can see studies on elderberry and how it actually does stop viruses from replicating. If a virus can replicate, then it stops it dead in its tracks. You're not going to get a full-blown virus. So my kids are in school, so I give them a little bit of elderberry syrup every day before they go to school, and it helps to keep their immune system bolstered. Yes.
What about in capsule?
That's fine too. Yeah, elderberry and any kind of elderberry is really good. So elderberry tea, elderberry capsules, elderberry syrup, anything in elderberry form is good. Yes.
Sir, do you sell elderberry tea, or do you have a recipe?
I do. I have elderberry. If you go to realfoodoutlaws.com, you can find recipes. That's my blog. There's tons of DIY recipes at realfoodoutlaws.com, and that's at the end. I think at the end of the thing it shows that. Yep, there's the website. I have elderberry that's plain elderberries, and I have an immunity that I make that is, where is it? You see it up here? Yeah. It has elderberries and elderflowers, which elderflowers are really good for breaking a fever. Chamomile, which is very calming. Rose hips, which is really high in whole complex vitamin C. Astragalus root, which is good for the immune system and prevention of sicknesses, and echinacea. Yes.
How much tea would you have to drink for it to really affect, like if you felt yourself getting cold,
Yeah.
how much to really have an effect?
Yeah. So the question was how much tea. It really isn't how much, it's how long you steep it. So the strength of it. So you can, if you steep it at least 15 to 20 minutes or longer, I usually do a lot longer. I'll do it for a couple of hours. And then you can drink up to a quart a day, and that usually knocks whatever you want out of your system. Yes?
Is it also good for chronic viruses or just viruses to prevent?
Yes, it's good for chronic. So not only does it help prevent, but it reduces the duration. So if you have a chronic virus, it can help stop that virus from replicating as well. So it's really good for anything chronic.
Is Lyme considered a virus?
Lyme is a bacteria, mostly. Lyme has a lot of friends. So keep in touch with us, and we'll have you on, if it's okay with you, we have you on a newsletter. And I do Lyme Talk. The Lyme Talk is very informative, and we have a lot of people that come to us that have Lyme. I had Lyme, so I know how to handle it because I don't have it anymore. So that's one of the things that we help people. We support their system so they can get through those types of infections.
Do you use the elderberry tea for a preventative, or just when you're...
You can use it for both. So you can use it as a preventative, or you can use it as the first sign of illness.
Okay, so if you're using it as a preventative, like 1 cup a day?
Yeah, like a cup of tea in the evenings. Yeah, a cup of elderberry tea. And it just keeps your immune system modulated. It's an immune system modulator. So we talked about that today. It modulates your immune system. So wherever your immune system is, it just kind of like meets you where you are, and it just kind of like makes it to where it's homeostasis. It has in homeostasis. That's what we're trying to do, is get your immune system to level off wherever it's at and to be healthy for you, for wherever you are in your health. And some people say you shouldn't do elderberry, you shouldn't do echinacea, you shouldn't do any of these immune system things if you have an autoimmune disease. There's no good literature that shows that it's going to send you through the roof. They're not immune system enhancers. They just modulate. So you can, if you have an autoimmune disease, which I did, you can still have these types of things. Obviously, you're not going to want to, drink like 30 gallons of it in a day. Like, it's within reason. You don't want your immune system to go a little bit hyper, but these have all been proven safe to use no matter what's going on. There are some exceptions, but people, when they come to me, if there's an exception, then we go over that. But for the general public and health-wise, we're okay with these. They're very safe, even with children. We use them on little kids. All right, so let me move this over so it's on the right page. Simmer, diffuse essential oils. I use a lot of essential oils. I've been using them for over 14 years in my home on pretty much a daily basis. So essential oils are a huge part of what I do with my family's health. I started out with tea tree oil, which is Melaleuca oil, and I kind of branched out from there, and I use things like lavender, and it will be up on YouTube as soon as I can get it to download properly, but I did a little short essential oil class the other day, a live video on Friday when I was supposed to be cleaning my house. I just did live videos instead. My house is still a mess. It was my last Friday off ever, so I'm like, I'm going to do something fun. So I'm here now every day of the week. So there are a lot of different uses for essential oils that you can use in your home to clean your home, to boost your immune system, all those types of things. I don't recommend using essential oils internally, so that is something that I don't recommend. We use them for aromatherapy, and we use them for some topical use, but if they're super diluted. You don't want to. They're so potent and strong, and there's no long-term studies, and most herbalists and aromatherapists, which I am, will tell you that they can actually burn your esophagus if you use the wrong ones, and that it heats up your liver and your kidneys, and your liver and kidneys have to detox them. So you're actually making your body work harder. You don't want your body to work harder, right? You want your immune system to be fine without having to work harder, because then your immune system goes down. So it kind of does the opposite effect. Simmer cut lemons on the stove. I like to do this. I actually like to do this with lemons and kitchen herbs like rosemary and thyme. So you can just get some dried, especially if it's kind of going a little bit, starts to turn brown, and you're like, I don't really want to eat this. It still has some of the aromatic oils in it, so if you throw it in a pot of water, there's a handful of thyme and rosemary with some cut up lemons and just simmer it, all those essential oils that are naturally in them and the vapors get into the home, and the steam from the humidity will help. Yes?
Can you do it in like a crock pot?
Yeah, you can do that. Yeah, as long as you get a little bit of like that steam coming out, or it's evaporating into the air. It's almost like having a diffuser, but it's warm, and it's really nice. So I don't really like humidifiers that much because of the mold factor. You really have to be diligent in cleaning humidifiers out. They're great if it works, but cleaning them out in little crevices with the vinegar and toothbrush or whatever, they're starting to make them a little bit better. But I've had a couple of humidifiers that you can hardly see it, but there's little black mold, and you don't want to be distributing black mold around your house, because that's going to make your health really bad. Keep Conjuplex. So this is what we use in our office for sicknesses. This keeps me from getting sick. I used to get sick all the time. And I keep Conjuplex and throat spray on hand and use it the first sign of sickness. So Conjuplex, which I think is up here. Yes, Conjuplex is a mixture of a few things. Andy. Sorry. It's got vitamin A, vitamin C, calcium, magnesium, and a lot of different vegetables, and then it does have extracts of different animal, I don't want to say animal parts, animal glandulars. If you want to know what they are, we'll talk about them later. But Conjuplex is awesome. I don't ever run out of it. Anytime I think I'm getting sick, and I know for me, if I double sneeze, or I have a scratchy throat, I know I'm reaching for the Conjuplex, because I know I'm coming down with something. So we went camping 2 weekends ago, I think, and when I got home, it was raining and cold that weekend, Labor Day weekend, so we all felt a little under the weather, so we just started popping Conjuplex. And you can't OD on Conjuplex. You can take the whole bottle if you want, and what it does is it nourishes your body. So it's nourishment, it's food, and it allows your body to be able to have enough extra to heal whatever's going on. So it's an immune system modulator. I say that word a lot, modulator. But it really, really helps. So it's got a lot of really good stuff in it. I love it. I never am without it. So what I will do is I will take 5. As soon as I start feeling sick, I'll take 5 of them. And then I'll take 2 an hour until I feel better. And I don't ever get past a certain point sickness-wise because I'm taking enough nourishment in where my body is able to kill whatever it was. And this helps with, this works with viruses or bacteria. And I'm able to not get sick. I can't afford to get sick because I have a lot of people to take care of. So we're seeing, well, this week I think we have at least 115 people on the schedule. So I can't get sick because then all those people don't have anywhere else to go. So Conjuplex is my saving grace. So I love standard process products. They're the best. They really are. Did you have a question?
When you say modulators, is that the same thing as adaptogenic, or are they different?
Kind of. It's very similar because it's kind of meeting you where you are. So it's modulating your immune system. Adaptogenic will be, you know, your body's adapting to that. Yeah. So.
Do you like mushrooms like chaga, reishi?
I do. Okay. Yeah, I do like those. I cook with those a lot. So on my on the Real Food Outlaws website, there is a bone broth recipe. We're going to talk about cooking too a little bit, but the bone broth recipe is enhanced with different herbs and mushrooms. So it's super easy to make, and you can get the ingredients from Mountain Rose Herbs or Frontier Co-op. We actually run a Frontier Co-op through the office, so if you ever want to get involved, we have a specific group for that, and then we order once a month, and we get things at wholesale prices. So we can get the mushrooms, we can get all those things at wholesale prices. So it's really nice. But what I do is I just steep all of those ingredients, the herbs, and I put the herbs in like a little sachet, and then the mushrooms I just throw in, and then I make the bone broth that way and steep it. So you have all those immune-enhancing properties in the already immune-enhancing bone broth, and then you can drink that. It tastes really good. It's like a very rich, earthy tasting broth, but it's delicious. Everyone loves it, and there's a couple soup recipes on there that use that broth. So, and you can just drink it out of a mug too. I love this time of year. I like summer, but I think I like the cooler weather more because of the soups and the broths. Like, who feels like heating up their kitchen? And even with my Instant Pot, I feel like as soon as I put that steam thing on, the steam's in, and nobody wants to smell bone broth in the middle of the summer. And you just don't. You want to smell lemons and oceans. You don't want to smell bone broth. Ugh. So yeah. Keep your indoor air moist. When your air gets dry, then you get the scratchy throat, you get the stuffy nose. I know my husband will get, scratchy nose, snore more during the winter months. Sometimes kids will get bloody noses when it gets really dry. So you just want to keep your indoor air moist. You can use that with a diffuser, simmering water on the stove. You can use the humidifier, but like I said, make sure it stays clean so you don't have the mold. Stomach bugs. So last year, I think it was in the spring or the last winter, the norovirus went around, and everybody was getting really bad stomach, like down and out for days. And it comes out both ends. So it's the diarrhea and the vomiting and the constant, and then you have multiple children, and you're like, here's the bucket, all that kind of thing. So we didn't get it because we don't get sick very often, but a lot of my patients who were coming in, we were giving out a lot of Cataplex AC. So we use Cataplex AC for stomach bugs a lot. It is, here somewhere. I should have put these in a better order. It's mostly, I took the lid. AC is vitamin C and vitamin A. Everyone always asks me about the vitamin A content and all the things that we use because it seems high, but it's food. So the only time vitamin A is toxic to the body if it's synthetic. If you're getting your vitamin A from food, your body can process that. It can't process the palmitate in the synthetics. So when you see like a 1500 IU and I tell you to take 6 a day, you're like, oh, that's so many thousands of, it's totally fine. Your body's like, oh, this is food, this is fine, we're good. And it really does help. And there's echinacea in here. So the echinacea is one of my favorite herbs. It should be everyone's favorite herb because it does so many things. People always say, oh, don't take echinacea if you have an autoimmune disease. Take echinacea because it actually helps your immune system and it helps your body to relax so your immune system's not on high alert all the time. Your immune system can actually relax and the autoimmune disease actually calms down. So it's wonderful for that. So it's mostly A and C, but it's got a lot of echinacea and there's a proprietary blend. This one has mushroom in it. Mushroom has buckwheat. It has lots of different vitamins and nutrients in it. Love this. And this is good for any type of flu. So I always keep these in the house. If you have a stomach bug, if I'm traveling, I travel a lot for training and workshops and those types of things. I always travel with Cataplex AC. Anytime I drink water I'm not sure about, and I think I might get a stomach bug or something, I use this. Another thing that you can use for stomach type issues is activated charcoal, which I love. You should always have activated charcoal in your house for emergencies. So for food poisoning, or for if you're not sure if it's food poisoning or a stomach virus, even if it is a stomach virus, what the activated charcoal does, it absorbs all the toxins and binds them all up, and then your body can flush them all out. So you always want to make sure you're drinking plenty of water whenever you take activated charcoal. And you can get it from any drugstore. Like CVS has it, Walgreens, just usually in like a Nature's Way green bottle. It says activated charcoal. They're capsules. Bind is, yep, we have it. Yep.
5 minutes.
Yeah. It's amazing. 5 minutes.
Pretty good.
Yeah, it's fast. It works really fast. You'll start feeling. I use it for migraines sometimes. I used to get really bad migraines that were food related, and before I knew what the foods were, before I got tested on foods, I would just take it because I didn't know. So I would just take the activated charcoal, and it really would help with food related migraines. Yes.
Back to the cataplex, is that attacking the virus? Like, how does that help with the stomach virus?
It's your own immune system. It's helping your immune system to do it. So all the products that we use from Standard Process are nutrients. They're nutritionals. So what they do is they assist your body to be able to fight things and help things go away on their own. So it's giving you the extra nutrition so your body can do what it's supposed to do. So it's kicking your autonomic nervous system into gear to do its job, to run the body better, so that we're able to actually...
Is that specifically for stomach virus, or did you say that was for...
All flus. Yeah, and cold, and some colds, yes.
But it's only for adults. Kids can't take it.
Kids can. Yeah, kids, anybody can take this. It's swallowable, but you can crush it. Some kids will chew them up. So it really depends on the kid. Yeah.
What's the ACP?
That's for inflammation. The P part is for inflammation. Yeah, so it's a little bit different. So I use Cataplex ACP, which I don't think I put out here, but a Cataplex ACP is someone has a cough or like pleurisy or something that's like really heavy on the chest, and I use Cataplex ACP or pneumotrophin for the lungs to repair the lung tissue and reduce inflammation. Yeah, so, and there's other herbs. We'll go over some more herbals that we can use too for those types of things, because I know this is kind of specific to what we do here. But I use Antranex as an antihistamine for allergic reactions and for sinus congestion. So I always tell the story about my horse. I live on a farm in Southampton. I have 53 animals, 5 of which are horses, 4 of which are rescued from the racetrack. So when we rescued them all with different, a little bit of health issues. I mean, they're fine, but they had health issues. My one horse, Millie, my only mare, other than the pony, she had these huge hives all over her body. And they said they had been there for a long time. And she was so itchy. She would just go on the thing and she'd be just scratching. And she was so uncomfortable. I mean, these huge all over her body. So I just started giving her Antranex as soon as she came to my farm. And within 2 days, they were completely gone. And she's never had them back. And she's not itchy and she's super happy. Yeah.
Can you use that on dogs?
Yes. I do, yeah.
My dogs are on this stuff that I really want to
Yeah.
come off of because it just, they don't have hives, they don't have it, but it's just
Yeah.
constant itchy skin.
Yeah.
No matter what I do for them, that would be.
Yeah, Standard Process products are safe for animals. So I actually do the testing that I do on animals. People do bring their animals in here, and I go out to farms and test animals. And we have used lots of Standard Process. Just like we use on people, we use them on animals. And they actually love them because they're food, and there's a lot of like liver and bone meal and things in the product. They love them. They absolutely go crazy. You have to hide the products from them sometimes. Like, no, mine. So yeah. Antranex is used for an antihistamine type action, so like a Benadryl, and also for drainage, for draining your sinuses, any kind of postnasal drip, throat stuff, those types of things. So my goal for the products that we use in our office, and all nutrition response testing practitioners use the same things because they work, and that's what we're trained on, is because it helps you avoid the over-the-counter alternative. So this is kind of like you can use this instead of. This is instead of. Yes.
Is Antranex like for regular allergies?
Yes, I use it for allergies. Yeah. Yeah, I have people who swear by it. Yes.
What was the one for the
Postnatal Antranex. Yeah, and you can take it in high doses too, like 10 to 12. It depends on what you need it for. We talked about activated charcoal. Obviously, increased intake of garlic. Garlic is good for everything. Garlic kills bacteria. Garlic kills viruses. Garlic gives you bad breath, but that's okay. If you're trying to be healthy, it's totally fine. So people won't be around you for long. Yes?
The Cataplex, do they make either of those in a gluten-free version or no?
I don't know if there's gluten in these or not. There might not be. I don't think there's any gluten in these.
It doesn't have the little symbol.
Yeah.
Those two are different than the other ones.
It might have. It has DFAT at Wheatgerm, but I have celiac. I have a lot of celiac patients, and they're fine on it. I test the sensitivity point, and they're fine. Whatever they're using out of the wheat is not the gluten part, so it's all kind of separated out, and they're using the therapeutic part of whatever's in there. And I have never had a reaction, and with my celiac people, yeah.
With the increase in garlic, are you talking like raw garlic, more raw?
Yeah, more raw. Yeah, or take garlic capsules. So we have garlic forte by Mediarb. We also have garlic, regular garlic capsules. The garlic forte has an enteric coating. So when you swallow it, it goes into your stomach, and then it opens up, so you don't burp up garlic, you don't smell like garlic. The other garlic from Standard Process is just ground up garlic in a capsule, and when you take it, you burp it up, you taste it, you smell it, it comes out your pores. So I prefer the garlic forte because I don't really like smelling like, I don't want vampires to get me either, but so garlic is good. And there's a garlic lemonade recipe in the back that I really love, and my kids actually like it too because you make it sweet enough with honey that's really good. All right, so we're going to go about wheat, and I'm happy to go over any of these other things with you. We talk about regular mental health tips. Okay, so when I moved back here from California after being in California for 7 years in the 75, 80 degree and sunny all year round, never rains, that kind of weather, it was a shock. I didn't realize how much I gotten used to not being in the cloudy atmosphere. Then when I moved back, we moved back here in 2009, and it was one of the worst winters on record, and it never was sunny. And I felt it. So my herbalist at that point told me to obviously get some sun and try to she told me to find a lemon balm plant and put a lemon balm plant in my window, and which is Melissa essential oil. If you have Melissa essential oil, it's that. Lemon balm tea, lemon balm whatever, and that really did help. And she made me up a really nice tincture, a winter tonic that helped with that. It had a lot of lemon balm in it to help with that seasonal affective disorder type of missing the sun and the vitamin D. So get some sun every day, even if it's just through the sunny window. We're still safe right now. We have a beautiful fall that we can have, you know, the sunshine and everything. But once winter comes and we have a lot less sunlight, I'll be coming here and, you know, it's dark. You know, you go to work in the dark, you leave in the dark, you don't get to see the light of day, that kind of thing. So, and your kids have what? We come home from school, they might have 2 or 3 hours of sunlight. It's ridiculous. Minimize EMF exposure. So electromagnetic field exposure is really, really important to minimize. I see a lot of electromagnetic field problems with patients. They're reacting to what their phones. So what I do, and I'll explain muscle testing to you in a little bit, but what I do is I put all of the things that I'm doing on the person's body, the nutrition that their body likes, and then I put their phone on them, and their arm just goes, they can't even hold their arm up. There's no muscle strength. It makes them completely like a limp, wet rag. And that's because of the radiation that's coming out of their phone. So there's ways to protect yourself from that. There's something called a Memin, which you can buy online. It's like a personal Memin. It goes on your wrist. It looks like a Fitbit. It's a bracelet. I think it's like $80, and it actually protects your body from the electromagnetic field. There is a device that goes in your phone that can protect you from Wi-Fi and all those types of things, and it's called Safest Cell Phone. And I have one on my phone, so my phone does not affect me negatively. I can be on my phone all day long if I want. And Safest Cell Phone. Safest Cell Phone. Safest, yeah. And they're a little bit more expensive. They're about $350 or so. But what happens with that is, if you put that in your house and put it on your Wi-Fi wires that come out of your Wi-Fi box, you can't put it on the box because it gets too hot. But if you follow them down where they kind of all meet, and then you hook it in, it has a little hook. It protects everyone on your Wi-Fi from that. You can even put it on, if you have a smart meter, you can put it, it protects you from pretty much anything in the whole house. So if you have one, it's not going to protect you when you leave your house, but anytime you're in the house, it's fine. So I have one now, and I have to order the rest for the rest of my family. I got mine at my conference. So the second generation just came out. So it was first generation. They weren't selling them for a while, but it's awesome. When you call someone, the protection goes to them. It's the coolest thing. So we tried it out at our conference. So we had somebody in, I think it was South Dakota. We had somebody muscle test them. Their arm went weak with their phone in their hand, and then the girl with the protection was in Florida. She called them and then retested, and he was completely strong. It was absolutely incredible. So I actually have a video of us doing it in the parking lot. So we called without it and called with it, and somehow it's almost like an infrared kind of a thing. So it goes through the Wi-Fi waves, It's really cool. So all the technology and how it works is actually on the website. So if you go on safestcellphone.com, you can read about it. And I'm sure they can explain it a lot better than I can. So technology is not super my thing. But herbal teas, we talked about a little bit. Lemon balm tea, immunity, elderberry, cold ease, cold care. Those recipes that are on my website. So you can get the herbs from Frontier Mountain Rose Herbs, and you can make them yourself, or you can order them from me. Either way, whatever you like to do. The essential oils for mental health. Avoiding toxic chemicals. Toxic chemicals also reduce your immune system strength, just like sugar and those things do. So I know at this time of year everyone likes to put the candles on and all of that. So if you're gonna burn a candle, make sure that it is not paraffin based. A soy based candle is better, or beeswax candle is even better than that. Beeswax is the best. And either unscented or scented with essential oils. So you don't want to use anything that has a fragrance, because that fragrance is a chemical. It's a cocktail of who knows how many thousands of different chemicals that they just kind of put together, and they call it a fragrance, and they say, okay, that's what it is. But it could be thousands of things, but because it's proprietary and trade secret, you don't have to know what it is. They don't have to tell you by law, which is a shame. So I know I used to, when I was really sick, I used to walk into someone's house, and if they had a candle burning, I would instantly get a migraine, and I would just feel like I was going to throw up, and I had to leave, or I had to very politely say, would you mind blowing that out, because I'm not going to be able to stay. And I hated that, but that's just the way it was. It was just instantly, I just felt like the whole room was spinning, and it was so bad, because my system was so compromised. Take a break. We all need to do that. I need to take that advice, I think, for myself. Some travel tips. So if you're going to be traveling this fall, or traveling in this winter, opt out at the airport. So get there a little bit early and don't go through the scanner. Just ask them for an opt out. It just takes an extra 5 minutes. Is it up there? Yeah. You get a pat down. I travel all the time, and I just get a pat down, and it's no big deal. They just do it really fast, and you're done. And then you don't get any extra radiation. They always say, oh, there's no radiation. They try to make you feel bad. I just ignore them and go on my merry way. I'm not, every time when I used to go through that, because I used to travel, when I did my clinical training in Florida, I had to go down there once a month for 2 years. And I was down there for 4 days. Every time I would come back, when I first started going down, I would have radiation. I would come up for radiation and other chemicals. When I stopped and I started opting out and just being responsible and getting to the airport a little bit on time, I didn't come up for radiation. I haven't come up for it again. So if they're telling you that it's not doing it, they can say whatever they want. I know what my body said. I was sick every time I came back from Florida. So I just opt out. It's just easier.
Sarah,
Yes?
is that the same for the ones that are in high schools?
Those are a little bit different. There's still some, but there's not as much as the body scanners. So they're metal detectors, right? They're going through?
Yeah.
They're not going through like a body scan, right?
No, the metal detectors.
Right.
Should people be concerned about their children doing
A little bit. I mean, not as much, I don't think. I mean, I think there is some radiation exposure, but not as much as those scans that actually can see through your body like that. Yeah.
Do you provide them with anything to detox that radiation, or like the cell phone thing? Have the kids wear anything, or no?
They can wear a Memin. Yeah, they can wear the personal device, or they have the thing on their phone, the protection. That'll protect them from that too. Yeah. So any personal protection thing you can do. Essential fatty acids also seem to help people not absorb radiation as heavily. So if you're taking essential fatty acids like fish oils, flaxseed oil, those types of things, the body doesn't seem to have that absorption toxicity as much. And if your body's healthy, you're not going to absorb it as much either. So your parotid glands, which are here, are supposed to be able to detox the body from those types of things. If you're compromised in any way and your parotid glands aren't working right, then the toxins continue to recycle through the body. They don't actually go out of the body. So sometimes we see that in our testing, and then we put people on parotid, which is a supplement, and it strengthens the parotid, and their body detoxes automatically. So when I travel, I have it on here, parotid before and after flight. So I'm going to fly next week. I'm going to Clearwater for training if the electricity's back on, and if I can get a flight, because I didn't buy a flight ahead of time. That was dumb. So it's like $500 now. So take parotid before and after a flight to help to reduce any, usually it's the hydrocarbon. So depending on where you sit in the plane, when they turn the plane and you smell all the exhaust, that messes people up. So that comes up a lot in testing. You can take a detox bath after flying, and what a detox bath is it's 2 cups of baking soda and 2 cups of Epsom salts. So whenever you travel, just run to the drugstore wherever you are, CVS, and grab a small thing of Epsom salts, small thing of baking soda, mix it up, put it in your bathtub, and soak for at least 20 minutes to an hour. And it will start to pull out all of the toxins that you might have been exposed to. Yes?
What if you don't want to be
I know. I never do this. I don't take, I hate baths, so. Yeah, I know. No, you just take extra parotid. And activate a charcoal and just call it a day. Yes.
What if you do like just really stick your feet in there while you're showering? You feel at the tub.
You could do that. You could do a
Do
foot
bit of
bath.
a foot bath.
Yeah, you could do that.
Comes mostly out of your feet.
Yeah, you could do. Yeah, you could totally do that. Yeah, yeah. I know. Hotel. They're kind of scary. Hotel bathtubs. Woo! I don't know. Yeah. Pack healthy snacks. So healthy snacks for me would be vegetables, nuts, seeds, those types of things you can cut up. You can get like guacamole cups or something like that and cut up vegetables, things that are healthy. Now dried fruit, while it's somewhat healthy, it's a lot of sugar. So if you're going to eat a lot, just look at the sugar content on the back. And if you are going to eat dried fruit, just watch how much you're eating. You can get a lot of sugar in that concentrate. Like mangoes have a lot of dried mangoes, tons and tons and tons of sugar in those. And fruit sugar depresses your immune system just like white sugar. So it doesn't matter what kind of sugar, your immune system goes down. Fruit sugar is fast metabolizing. Fructose is fast metabolizing. So it just goes right to your joints and your brain and your pancreas. And so you have to just really watch that as well. Stay hydrated. A lot of people, when they travel, they don't drink a lot because they don't want to go to the bathroom a lot, because they want to use the public bathrooms, they don't want to use the airplane restroom, those types of things, so it's really gross. But if you don't stay hydrated, you're more likely to get sick. A lot of times you'll get more leg swelling when you're traveling if you're not drinking enough fluids, so try to drink water. Be careful when you're traveling, the water that you're drinking. Tap water from other states you might get parasites because you don't know what's in their water. They always are chlorinated, so if you can get some bottled water, preferably in a glass bottle, is better because you don't want to get the plastic either. So traveling is tricky because you're exposed to so many things. Most of the time, we have a lot of people that travel a lot. I have a lot of patients who travel a lot for business, and when they come back, they usually have something going on, whether it's parasites. And I'm always interested in parasites because parasites are really common. And there's been a couple message boards I've been involved in recently that they either poo-poo parasites or they say that a practitioner like me doesn't know what I'm talking about when I can say I can get rid of them. Parasites are so easy to handle most of the time, and they're so common, and everyone has them. Everybody. So everyone who comes in here at some point in the program comes up for parasites because parasites have a symbiotic relationship with us. So we are 1 part us and 9 parts microorganism. When the 9-part microorganism tries to take over the 1 part that's us, it comes up in my little testing box and tells me it's a problem. So it means that something's weakened in your system. The terrain of your body has become such a way that the parasites have decide to come and do their job, which is to clean up. So if an organ is leaking a protein, so say your adrenals are fatigued and it starts to leak proteins, the parasites will go in there and clean up the protein. But what happens is they can't get out on their own, so they get stuck in the organ and they cause problems. And these aren't like sometimes they are, but usually they're not like tapeworms. They're just little microscopic parasites that are just there to do their job, to return you to dust, basically, and our job is to just get rid of them. So it's easy, and sometimes you'll vomit a parasite up. Sometimes it's really gross. Sometimes they'll come out your stool. But that doesn't mean you have to go to the emergency room, because chances are they're not going to know what to do. They only test for a couple of different kinds of parasites. And I have plenty of people who've gone to infectious disease, they've gone to the emergency room, and they say, you don't have any parasites. And they're like, I threw it up. Like, it's here. And they're like, you're fine, because they don't test for the right ones. But when you come here, we can help you naturally get your body in where it's supposed to be in balance and get rid of the parasites. Parasites do not scare me. I have lots of animals. The parasites are something we deal with on my farm on a daily basis, so not a big deal. So if anybody says a nutrition practitioner or herbalist can't handle parasites, tell them I told you different. So I'll take that. Yeah. Drives me crazy. All right, so let's see. Be prepared. Yeah, preparedness is good. Just making sure you know where you're going to eat ahead of time. If you are on like a gluten-free diet or something like that, the best thing to do, because a lot of restaurants aren't gluten-free yet, just go grain-free. So for whatever you're traveling, just get meat and vegetables, or if you have to just get rice or something like that, if you're not sure. A lot of times, some of the restaurants are really good about it because so many people are gluten-free now, but some restaurants will look at you like whatever. And then you have to be concerned about the sauces, and you have all this stuff. So if you just can do meat and vegetables, ask for an extra vegetables on the side. When I was traveling for school, I was at my sickest. So I had to travel once a month being sick as a dog and not being able to eat anything. So I had to really be careful about where I was eating. But they were really accommodating, just meat and vegetables. And it kept me healthy enough so I can do what I need to do and, pass all my tests and stuff. So, all right. Let's see, where are we? Travel tips. It's not on the slide. It's not on the slide, but I have on here, practice mindful eating. So avoid foods you're sensitive to. If you don't know what you're sensitive to, I'd be happy to check you and tell you. We all have certain food sensitivities that are usually immune system based. So if you fix your immune system, the food sensitivities go away. That's what happened for me. So as soon as I was able to fix my adrenals and get rid of the Lyme, then all my food sensitivities to eggs and dairy and all grains and all fruit and all sugar and everything else went away. So now I can eat like a normal human being and not have all these crazy reactions. So that's good. Increase warming foods. So as the weather cools down, I don't recommend cleanses, like cold, smoothie cleanses after it starts to get really cold on a daily basis. So because your body is going to try to keep itself warm, right? So if you're going to do any cleansing, we do like soup cleanses or we do bone broth cleanses. We do other types of cleanses in the winter, fall and winter to help the body to stay warm. It helps to keep your weight managed properly, because if your body's constantly cold and it's trying to warm, it's going to, it's going to not regulate properly. Your body's going to try to keep weight on if it's going to do that all the time. Increase warming foods, decrease the cold foods, use bone broth daily plus soups, drink liquids warmer at room temperature, avoid alcohol, eat slowly and just stop just before you feel full, and only take a few bites, 3 small bite rule. So if you're having a dessert and you're worried about the sugar, you can take a bite or 2 and then just say that's it, so you don't have to eat the whole thing. This will help your body to stay healthy. There's also cooking tips. Replace your flours with almond, cashew, or coconut flour. Use stevia to sweeten, pure stevia only, no additives, no sugar alcohols. So the stevia packets like the Truvia, that usually has dextrose or corn additives. So some people are sensitive to that actually, the corn, and it's most likely is genetically modified, so that's something you want to avoid. It's better to just use the liquid stevia. I think it's like New Stevia, or there's a couple, Wegmans has it, Whole Foods has it, Mom's Market has it, and it's basically just alcohol and regular alcohol, not sugar alcohol, and the stevia, and it's made like a tincture, so they actually just extract it from the plant. So I have stevia plant, I had one before I moved, and I just put the leaves in some alcohol and then made my own tincture, and you can add a little vanilla extract if you want, and that is like a vanilla stevia. So that's what stevia extract is made out of, versus the bleached out packets that are just kind of pseudo stevia. It's kind of like an artificial sweetener when it's all said and done. Yeah.
What kind of alcohol do you use?
I usually use vodka, or usually vodka, potato vodka. Yeah, because I just try to avoid the grain. Yeah, not like rubbing alcohol. No. Yeah, no, and so there is another video on grain-free cooking that I'm trying to upload to YouTube as well. That will be up there. It was a live video that I did on Friday on grain-free cooking, where it talks about how to cook grain-free. It talks about what flours to use and how to use coconut flour, almond flour, and all those types of things. So once that gets up, we'll probably send out a newsletter, because I'm just having trouble getting it from where it was on Facebook Live to YouTube. So I'm trying to figure that out. All right, so cooking tips, we already did that. There are alternatives for every recipe. We saw if using honey or maple syrup, cut the amount in half. So there's a lot of recipes on my blog, and some of them will say 1/3 of a cup to 1/4 of a cup of maple syrup. What I do for my own family is I do 2 tablespoons, and that is enough. And I'll use applesauce. I make homemade applesauce, which is super easy. So I'll just put a little applesauce in there. I don't like things that are sweet anymore, because I detox myself from sugar, and so things that are super sweet they don't appeal to me anymore. And the kids have kind of come along too, so we kind of detox them as well. So just cut the amount in half. Cut it as low as you can where it still tastes good, but you don't have to overload yourself with all that sweetener. And try to use raw honey if you can. And when you cook the raw honey, you're going to kill off the enzymes, but still, raw honey is better. Bless you. Better than the processed honey, which is more like a high fructose corn syrup once they keep processing stuff out like that. All right, so let's go over some herbal support. Elderberry syrup. There's a recipe down at the bottom. There's 2 recipes. There's one for a supercharged elderberry syrup and one for a regular one. There should be. Maybe it's not. Oh, maybe I didn't save that one. Well, the regular elderberry syrup is just elderberries and water and then honey. So you can just do it the same way as this recipe, except you're going to cut out all the additional ingredients. Some people don't feel like gathering up all the other ingredients because it's just as easy to make the elderberries. So I usually make the supercharged, but last weekend I didn't have any. I had to make some for some clients, and I didn't have any fresh ginger, so I just made regular. So I have that, and I sell that here. and then elderberry, and then cough syrup as well. So elderberry syrup, like we talked about earlier, is wonderful for mostly viruses. It's wonderful for the flu, especially. So any kinds of flu, stomach bug, and also the flu. We had the flu a few years ago when we first moved back. That 2009. We don't get the flu shot. And we had gotten the flu somehow. It was the year that H1N1 was going around, and we got the flu, yeah. And we just did tons of elderberry syrup, and we were sick I think we were sick for a week. I think it was like 7 days we were all sick, and everybody at different points. So it was like 2 months of everybody, 1 week, one person, it was bad. But we had all our remedies. It was fine until I got sick. And then it was like, okay, then what are we going to do? Yeah, we're down, we're sunk. But once mom gets sick, we're done. But elderberry syrup really is a lifesaver because it helps to shorten the duration of what's going on. So,
Where do you find it, elderberries?
elderberries you can get from Mountain Reserves or Frontier. Or Amazon. Amazon does have some stuff. Just try to make sure that it's coming from a reputable place, like Star West Botanicals. Sometimes they'll ship out from there. Or Frontier. There is some Frontier. They charge the retail price, though. So if you buy stuff from Frontier on Amazon, you're paying a higher price than you are if you're doing a co-op. So yeah. Elderberry elixir, elderberry tincture. So I make elderberry elixir. I don't have any right here. I have it at home. But elderberry elixir is alcohol based. It's brandy and honey based. It's so good. It tastes really good. It's like, if you think of like, grandmother giving like whiskey and like, for cold. That's what it's like. It has so many ingredients in it, and that recipe is on my blog. So if you want to make that, and I do have some that's available that I have to bottle up. But that's really good, and that's shelf stable. So elderberry syrup like this is not shelf stable. It's almost like a tea, so if you make it, you have to put it in the refrigerator. And it only lasts a couple of months, so I have the dates. This is probably good till November, and then it'll start to ferment, and it gets fizzy, and then it's done. You gotta throw it away.
Is that recipe on your website
Yeah.
too?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, all the recipes for the teas, I think all the teas and all the...
No, for the elderberry elixir?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes, I'm very much into sharing the recipes, so you're welcome to get them. Cough syrup. So people started asking me for this way before it's cough season time because this cough syrup works amazing. It's got a lot of ingredients in it. You can find all those ingredients on the 2 sites that we talked about. But what it does is it really helps the body to be able to take care of a cough, whether it needs to be suppressed or, expressed, or expectorant. So it has all the different components to what a cough would be, and it kind of it calms it down within 15 minutes. So when your kid gets up in the middle of the night and they're hacking, and you're like, you need to go to sleep, and it's a dry cough or a wet cough, it doesn't matter. You give them a teaspoon of this, and within 15 minutes they're asleep and they're fine. When you're worried about if you send them to school because they're coughing, if you give them this before they go to school, they won't cough, and you can send them to school and not worry about it. So the herbal cough syrup, it's on page 3.
Sarah,
Yes.
so what if we can't find all of this stuff?
You can buy it from me.
Okay.
Yeah, I have it. Yeah, I've got it. Yeah, I got you covered. So you can get it from here. I usually make a new, in the winter time, I try not to run out. So I try to, and we have so many, we've grown so much, and we have so many people that just come for this stuff that I just have to make a batch every week pretty much. It's fine. I just keep us stocked up. I have an herbal apothecary in my house that has over 300 herbs. So usually if people need some herbs, like if you need an ounce of something, you can always just ask me because I usually have it because I have herbs everywhere in my house. So I have all of these in stock all the time. So, all right, so those are the recipes for that. Yes.
How often would you administer that to a child?
You can administer it every hour if you wanted to, but you can do it as needed. Yeah. So the garlic ginger lemonade, we love this in my house. Yes.
I wonder how you do all this.
That's another seminar. It's just my life. That's just what I do. So I'm, yeah, I don't sleep very much. Yeah, I don't sleep very much. I do like Sunday afternoon. Sometimes I'll do something on a Sunday, or if I'm not working on a Saturday. Like I work usually every other Saturday, so the Saturdays I'm not working. I'm up early. I have a farm. The roosters get up at 5, so Yeah, I know what I had an herb thing a few months ago that I had to make a ton of stuff. I do something once a year. It's down in Franklinville, and it's an herb festival, and it's for the whole weekend. and I had a bunch of people come for the first time. I had a bunch of people come over to my house and actually make stuff. It was the hardest thing ever because I had to like relinquish control of the herbal making stuff. It was hard, but it was a lot of fun. But yeah, I do. Every once in a while I put out if you want to come over, and then I usually have like no more than 4 people because I can't handle that many people, you know, with my herbs. Yeah, so, but yeah, it's really fun. I make salves, I make this stuff, I make all the teas, and it really has helped. Even before I did nutrition, I did herbs. So herbs was kind of my first love. So I've been doing herbs for years and years, and it's really, really fun. And it's very therapeutic, so you don't need therapy if you have courses in herbs. That's what I always say. So. Garlic ginger lemonade, a quart of hot water, 2 to 4 cloves of chopped garlic, 2 to 3 lemons juiced, and 1 inch or so piece of fresh garlic, or fresh ginger rather, chopped. You can also put fresh turmeric in there. So that Whole Foods has the turmeric in the next to the ginger. The little, it's like they're like little red fingers. So you can put that in as well. And you put honey to taste, or approximately 1/4 of a cup. Make sure it cools down a little bit before you put the honey in, because you really want the benefits of the raw honey in this. So cool it down a little bit so that the hot water doesn't zap all your enzymes, because you really want to make sure that you have that taken care of. And then the instructions are down there. All right, I wanted to tell you more information about, we still have a little bit more time, more information about what the standard process products do and why, because I want you to understand kind of why we use this for, because they're safe. So when we have people, a lot of people on medications, we have newborns, we have elderly people, we have people from all ages and with all different health conditions. And I never have to worry about what I'm putting them on when it comes to nutritionals. Sometimes I have to be more concerned about the herbal blends, because sometimes there's herbs in there that could maybe be a blood thinner, like garlic, those types of things can be in the blood. You have to be more careful with herbs than you do with the nutritionals. So, for example, Chondroplex we use for acute immune system issues at the first sign of illness. You can take 5 at one time and then 2 per hour, and then also helps with cold sores. Cataplex AC, flu-like symptoms or stomach bugs, 1 to 2 per hour while feeling sick. Immuplex we also use. Immuplex is more of a preventative. Chondroplex is more for what you're starting to feel sick, or you're sending your kids to school and you know everyone at school got the flu shot, and your kid's not going to get it because you have a religious exemption. Which, if you need a letter for that, let me know. I can send you out a letter. I'd be happy to. Just put a star next to your name on the list or something. Make sure your email address is, I can read it, and I'll be happy to send that. I have not ever had a problem with my kids going to school with no shots. They're fine. Schools, public school, private school, whatever, they let them in, because if you have a religious exemption, they can't question you if it's well written enough, because then that goes against the church and state separation, all that, and there's legal issues. And then if they do, just tell them that you're going to call their lawyer, and then they shut up real fast. So no problems with that. So my kids are all in public school right now. I homeschooled them up to this point. They were in private school before that in 2 different states. So between the private schools and the public schools and BCIT, Medford campus, everyone's fine. Everything's good. So Immuplex used for viruses. You can take 1 to 4 per day. Usually 1 a day as a preventative. If you're prone to viruses, say you always get viruses, you get bronchitis, because bronchitis is viral, not bacterial. So if you're getting antibiotics for bronchitis, it's the wrong thing. You should be on antibiotics for bronchitis. It's viral. If you take an Immuplex a day, then you can help prevent those types of viral illnesses. Anthrax, allergic reactions, we talked about that. Calcium lactate is used to support the body during fevers or illness. 3 to 6 per day is the usual dose. I always test, when people come in, I always test for the dose, but that's the one on the bottle. Calcium lactate, when the body has a fever, it burns up a lot of calcium. So if you give calcium lactate to someone who has a fever, it's not a fever reducer, but it replenishes the calcium that the body needs, and the fever will naturally do what it needs to do, which is kill all the germs that it's there for, right? But it won't get up over the temperature it's supposed to, and it supports the body during the fever. So it's going to replenish that calcium. It helps relieve the pain. Calcium is a pain reliever, a natural pain reliever, so it actually helps to relieve the pain of the fever. There's tons of things homeopathically that we could talk about too. I do have some here, but homeopathy is an entire seminar on its own, really, because it's simple, but it's complicated, and it's how it works. We use a lot of homeopathics with little kids because they're usually liquids or those little pellets, and they're palatable and kids can take them. So next week we're talking, on next Tuesday night, we're doing an herbal medicine for children's health, but we're going to be talking more about things geared toward children, but I really wanted this to be more like an overall wellness so that you can do it for yourself, because all these remedies I use for me, because I have to take care of myself first, or I can't take care of anybody, right? I have kids and animals and a husband. And patients that have to be taken care of, and if I go down, like we said with the flu, what's going to happen, you know? So everyone needs me. So Cataplex C, whole complex vitamin C that does not deplete the body like ascorbic acid does, use as needed. So I don't believe in mega dosing vitamin C, ascorbic acid, drinking tons of emergency, those types of vitamin C things, if it's ascorbic acid, because the body will get depleted of whole complex vitamin C if you overdose on ascorbic acid. It's only one part of vitamin C, yes?
Is it true too that most ascorbic acid is actually genetic?
Yes, genetically modified.
Well, it's sourced from GMO corn.
Yes.
So, and basically GMO corn.
Right.
It,
Yes.
it has that glyphosate sprayed on it.
Mm-hmm.
Punctures holes in your stomach.
In your gut.
And that's where all the leaking
Mm-hmm.
stuff
Yeah.
comes out. And
Yeah.
I've had problems with that.
Yeah, so you might be setting, so if the vitamin C that you're getting in ascorbic acid form is GMO and was sprayed by glyphosate and it can poke holes in your gut, then you're setting yourself up for an autoimmune disease when you're trying to boost your immune system, but on the other hand, you're going to do the exact opposite. Yeah, it's like this. It's, you know, it is what it is. But that's, I mean, if you look at it from the science perspective, because all my stuff is very scientific, that's just like logic. It's logical science that if you eat something that's harmful to you or you're doing something that's going to deplete you, if you take a vitamin, if something's supposed to, so say you have an orange, it's whole complex vitamin C, and you say you just extract the ascorbic acid from that, is it going to give you some benefit? Yes, but long term, so there's some people that take ascorbic acid every day, all the time. And what that does is your body's going to say, where's the rest of the vitamin C? Like, and so it's the ascorbic acid, the molecule actually look for the rest of the vitamin C in your body, and it acts like a funnel. And it actually starts to suck in all the other vitamin C. So you're actually depleting your own body of vitamin C. So you're actually harming yourself in the long run. Short term, you can do it, just try to find a good quality. But it's better to have a whole complex vitamin C. So we use Cataplex C, or you can get like a buffered vitamin C that is whole complex. Just look for it. It'll have like the foods listed on there. It'll have like oranges or something, rose hips. And it'll be completely natural and organic if it's in the right form. Echinacea Premium, immune system modulator, okay to use continually for a healthy immune system. It's a myth that using an Echinacea long-term reduces its effectiveness. That's a complete myth. There's no scientific evidence that supports that at all. I don't know whoever said that, but that's a common belief that if you take Echinacea, you got to take 2 weeks off and then start it and then take 2 weeks off. You can take it continually forever and it's fine if it's good quality. So you have to watch the quality. Probiotics. Probiotics help the immune system since most of the immune system is in the gut. Some people can't handle probiotics because they don't have good gut flora, so sometimes you have to recolonize the gut with prebiotics before you add in probiotics, or probiotics just go through. So you have to do some gut reconstitution. If you've been on antibiotics especially, you have to reconstitute the gut, put in some prebiotics, eat some fermented food in small quantities to build up your system, and then you can add in a probiotic capsule with lots of different strains. Yes?
Is that something that you can test for?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we usually test people. People always say, I want to be, some people will come in, they'll say, this is what they want. This is what I want. I want to be in a fish oil, I want to be in a probiotic, and I want to be in a multivitamin, and I want to be in an enzyme, and that's it. And I say, okay, let's test you. They don't test for the probiotics. They don't test for the fish oil because there's so much other stuff going on first. The body says, I don't want all this stuff. And they definitely don't test for a multivitamin. The body has other nutrients that it wants instead. They want usually we have to eliminate some foods. We have to do some food eliminations. We have to reconstitute the gut, get everything, the immune system back in order. I would say that 85% of the people who walk through the door have an autoimmune disease either already diagnosed or suspected. And so we handle a lot of autoimmune diseases in here. And that is mostly all beginning in people's guts because of the leaky gut thing. I test for GMOs, so I actually test for GMOs specifically. All right, so I am running out of time, so I wanted to go through. Okay, so what we do here is we do something called nutrition response testing, where we actually very specifically test. We have people who come in for preventative care for acute situations, and we do non-emergency sick care. So we take care of people from all different health issues. We have people that have cancer that come in for nutritional support. We have people who come in for fertility. ear infections, pneumonia, all these different things that we are able to figure out what's going on at the root cause and then handle it that way. So there's many reasons why someone might have a nutritional deficiency or imbalance that might cause these health issues. So what we do in our office is we actually help that person determine what those issues are and stop that mechanism, so that, say if you have a triangle, which I have it here, so I'll show it to you, but I forgot to change the topic. So I have the digestive distress at the top, but you can change any topic. So if you're having a cold or a flu or something like that, you can put that up there. It causes organ dysfunction and nutritional deficiencies. So you have a cold or flu, it causes additional nutritional deficiencies because it's depleting your body. Then you have organ dysfunction, and it starts this hamster wheel. Goes around and around and around. And unless you put a stop in that mechanism, it's going to keep going and going. So that's where we come in. Sugar does the same thing. So sugar does the same thing as those things. It has organ dysfunction and nutritional deficiencies. So we use nutrition response testing because that halts the mechanism. So it stops that process from happening. And we're able to allow the body to heal by assessing what's really going on. So I'm going to have Laura come up just for a minute. So I want to demonstrate, so you have, because I know we talked about it, and some of you are patients, some of you are not, so some of you might not know what this is. So this is nutrition response testing. What I do is I have my patient put up their arm, and I test their arm pressure. Okay, I want to see that they can resist me. I want to know that they have strength to be able to push up when I push down. Now, say if there's something that's going on with her heart, one of her organs like her heart, and I push on her heart and her arm at the same time, her arm will collapse. How that works is, I want you to stay just for a minute though, if you think of hypothermia, when someone comes out of the cold water, their fingers and toes and arms and legs are numb because all of the energy, blood flow, and circulation leaves what you can live without, the expendable extremities, to protect the core organs as long as possible. So standing here, she's not under any stress. If I push on her arm, she can resist me, just like you could if I push on your arm. I could push as hard as I want, and her arm's not going to go anywhere. But if I were to push on an organ like her heart, like I demonstrated earlier, and her heart was affected in any way, any kind of stress, her arm's going to collapse because all the energy, blood flow, and circulation leaves her arm to go and protect her heart. So I'm able to check for any kind of stress in her organs, any kind of deficiencies, by using her arm as a strength indicator. I push on each organ of the body. If the arm stays strong, there's no stress. If the arm goes weak, there's some kind of stress you need to find. And I find that stress by doing a non-invasive sensitivity test. I don't like to say allergy because allergies think of anaphylaxis or like a blood allergy, like if you add a peanut. This is more of a sensitivity. This actually goes deeper in, checking the tissues and the organs. So we look for food sensitivities, we look for immune system issues. We also have a box that has metals and chemicals and other environmental toxins and pollens and those types of things. So we can look for anything. And once we determine if you have any of these issues, then we have to find the correct nutritional equivalent. So what is her body deficient in? So we know that if your body is not 100% healthy, then you have some kind of imbalance, right? Something's going on. You're having a symptom. Then we always will put some kind of nutrition on, and then we retest her and make sure that everything stays strong. If everything stays strong, we know that her body is accepting the nutrition in the bottle. Now, people always ask me, you can go ahead and sit down. Thank you very much. People always ask me, well, how does your body know what the heck's in that little bottle? Well, everything we use is either a food or an herb or a homeopathic, which has its own enzymes and energy, because food has energy. If you think of the sun, for example. So say you're standing in front of a window on a warm day, and the sun's streaming through. You can feel the heat, right? It's the energy from the sun. Well, it's the same concept with whatever in the bottle, because these are living foods that are in these bottles. If you go within 2 feet of that bottle with an energy reading meter, it will start to beep, because there's about 2 feet worth of energy in this little bottle, which is a little bit small compared to the big ball of the sun that we have. We can feel the heat 90 billion miles away, right? But it's the same concept. So it's not like a woo-woo energy. It's actually an energy that can be read and metered, which is physical energy. So what we do is improve your overall health with what we do, and it's not a quick fix, and it usually requires several months, because usually it takes someone quite a while to get to this point where they're saying, okay, I have symptoms, I'm sick, something's going on. An autoimmune disease does not appear overnight. It's the gut, depleting. An autoimmune disease usually starts with some leaks in the gut, and the protein signatures from your foods go into your bloodstream, and your immune system just goes on high alert. It brings out the big guns, brings out the big bazookas, and says, I have to get rid of this. This is a problem. This food is a problem. This is not supposed to be in the bloodstream, and it starts attacking, and your body starts to slowly attack itself. And then anytime you eat that food again, then your body's going to attack that food as it comes in. So that's when people start to have all these multiple food sensitivities and they can't eat anything anymore. It's because your body says, that's dangerous, it's danger, danger. You could calm that down by doing a food elimination and then fixing those holes and fixing your immune system. And then those food sensitivities go away. So everything is individualized. Everything that we do, even this stuff, this is kind of a cold and flu as well. You can kind of figure it out on your own sometimes. But with your overall health, it's really important to have very specific, individualized, not hit or miss nutrition. So when I wanted to become a nutritionist and holistic healthcare provider, I didn't want to be somebody who just took someone's symptoms down on paper and then gave them a bunch of supplements and says, come see me in the morning or whatever, call me in the morning. When I was sick, I went to a naturopath, and I spent probably about almost $10,000 on naturopathic care, and I didn't get any better because it was $450 to walk through the door, and it was $250 for every appointment after that, and then she just gave me supplements and said, just take these and see how they work. That doesn't work for me. I want to know exactly what's going on, why it's going on, and how I can fix it and fix it efficiently and not have to spend that much money. So we try to keep our costs low enough so people can afford them and not have to have $400 visits, because that's insane. That's just crazy. You can't function like that. And then the symptom treating too. Even when I was doing herbalism, it was more of a symptom treating kind of a thing. And I was right maybe 50% of the time, but that wasn't good enough. I want to be right all the time. I want to know when someone walks into me and says, I've got this and this and this going on, I know exactly how to fix it. I know what's going on with you. I know what's going on with your immune system, and I can fix that. So we have that confidence as nutrition responsive practitioners because the body tells us exactly what's happening, and it's always accurate every single time. So we do design clinical nutrition. It's safe and natural, and we don't have a one-size-fits-all approach. Everything's individual. So you know, Laura can come in. Laura comes in when she started working for me. She had certain health issues, and then when Clarissa was here, if you didn't remember Clarissa, when she was here, she had other health issues. They might have the same symptoms, but their remedies were different. Their nutritional programs were completely different, because you can have the same exact symptoms, but the cause is completely different. So you never know unless you test. There's no one size fits all. So what we do, in addition, you're able to, if you want to buy anything that we have, if you don't feel like, if you want to go home and give your kids, before they go to bed tonight and have them ready for school tomorrow, you're welcome to do that. We have things here. The recipes are on the blog. We also offer a discount on anyone who would like to do a initial consultation and get themselves checked out, see what's going on. We do a free mini screening tonight. There is a form in your packet that has this packet here. We didn't do the sugar quiz because we kind of started late. We ran out of time. I like to go till 8 and we're already 5 minutes over, so that stresses me out. So you have to, there's a couple of things, the papers in here you can look at. One of them is a workshop screening. If you hand them to Laura filled out, she'll send you to me in the order that she's received them, and I'll do a 5-minute screening. I'll explain to you a little bit more about the autonomic nervous system in a nutshell, so you can kind of see what it is we do. And normally it costs, for the first 2 visits, which is the report of the initial consultation, all of the testing, and the report of findings, it's usually $180, and we give it to you for $100 for attending the workshop. So it's 2 visits, which is about 2.5 hours, and all the testing that tells you everything for the $100. And we do families. What we do with families is if one parent is on a program, a child is 40% off. If 2 parents are on a program, we see kids for free. So we believe in, we have a lot of people we have a lot of families, and we believe in taking care of mom first usually, because mom's cooking, right? Usually mom's cooking, and if, like I said, mom goes down. So we take care, can't pour from an empty cup, so we take care of mom first, and then we start taking care of all the kids, because we really want to make sure that, the future generations are preserved, because it's going the opposite direction. Kids are so sick these days, it's so sad. So that's good. That's good. Yeah, because the farther away you get from the generation where you came from. So for example, I'm from Italy originally, 3 generations. The more generations you go from your native where you came from, the worse your health is. The more westernized your diet has become, right? So that's what's happening. So look up, if you have a chance, look up Pottinger's Cats on YouTube and watch the 14-minute video. It's an old video. It's called Pottinger's Cats. Watch it. It talks about what happens with generations and how infertility comes about, and muscular degeneration, bone loss, and how that happened with cats and how it was related to humans, and what's happening to us as a society. And you can see, just look around. Just look at all the medical centers popping up everywhere. It's crazy. Every shopping center is getting bought out by a medical center, and they're full as soon as they open their doors. Parking lot is full. It's crazy. So anyway, okay, so that's another workshop topic. So next Tuesday, we're having September 19th, Herbal Remedies for Children's Health right here. In October, on October 10th, we're doing one on thyroid health. We're going to be covering Hashimoto's, hyperthyroid, hypothyroid, and everything in between. So if you know anybody with any thyroid issues at all, bring them to see me. Or thyroid symptoms, because a lot of times you'll go to the doctor says, you don't have a thyroid problem. Yes?
So is Pottinger's
P-O-T-T-E-N-G-E-R-S. Pottinger's.
And when is your thyroid?
October 10th, there's some, if you didn't get these flyers, they're up here. So October 10th, we have the thyroid one. And October 24th, right before Halloween, we're going to do the impact of sugar on health. We're going to do a sugar talk. I love that one. So no one wants to come to that one because I think it's such a bummer. But it's really good information. We talked about, the science behind what sugar does and how it does it. And it's really cool. It's actually one of our most well-attended talks, even though people are like coming and dragging their feet. Let me take my sugar. All right. Does anybody have any questions? You good? All right. So if you want to get tested, just give Laura the paper, and I will test you. Feel free to shop. Laura's going to be checking people out if they want to shop around, and feel free to look at everything we've got here. So we'll see you next week.
It was
You're
wonderful.
welcome. I'll see you soon. Okay. Good.